Hello, dear students. Today, let us start the explanation of the chapter On the Face of It, written by Susan Hill. Please go through the explanation very carefully. Dear students, let us know about the author. Susan Hill is an English author of fiction and non-fiction works, children's writer and playwright. Her novels are written in descriptive Gothic style, especially the ghost story Women in Black. Her other famous novels include The Mist in the Mirror and I Am the King of the Castle. Let us see the chapter sketch now. On the Face of It is a play featuring an old man, Mr. Lamb, and a teenage boy, Derry, who met in Mr. Lamb's garden. Both suffered from physical impairment. Mr. Lamb takes life as it comes to him, while Derry is withdrawn and defiant. The meeting in the garden turns out to be a boon for Derry, as Mr. Lamb is able to give him hope and the ability to see the bright side of the life. Let us know about the two characters of the chapter. The first one is Mr. Lamb. He is an old cripple who enjoyed life despite his handicap. Next one, Derry. He is a 14-year-old boy with one side of his face disfigured in an accident. Reclusive at first, he learned how to live from Mr. Lamb. Now, let us start the explanation of this chapter. So here the story starts with the description of scene 1 that was set in Mr. Lamb's garden. One could hear the birds singing and the low sound of tree leaves. Derry, a young boy, entered the garden climbing over the garden wall. He walked in slowly and cautiously, thinking nobody was there, but got surprised to hear Mr. Lamb's voice. Mr. Lamb warned Derry to be careful about the crab apples and told him to not trip up on them that have fallen from the tree. Derry said that he didn't know that someone was present in the garden. He tried to explain that he didn't want to sneak in and presumed that the house was empty and he didn't expect anybody there. He got scared. Mr. Lamb assured him and tried to comfort him that there was nothing to be afraid of. He also added that the gates were always opened and everyone was welcomed there. Next, Mr. Lamb tried to stop Derry and told him that he kept the gate open for everyone and it was only Derry who jumped the wall. Derry got angry but clarified that he didn't enter to steal anything. Derry wanted to leave when Mr. Lamb told him not to be afraid. Derry replied that he was not afraid, but people were afraid of him. Derry also told him that he knew what people thought and rather how they behaved in front of him. Mr. Lamb questioned him about the thoughts of other people, to which he replied that the others got scared on seeing his face. Some considered it ugly and some even took pity by saying that he was a poor boy. He told that they were fake and they were afraid of his face, which even he himself gets when he looks into the mirror. Then again, Derry got furious because he thought that Mr. Lamb was having pity on him. But somewhere inside, he would also be scared of Derry. Next, Mr. Lamb said that he was not afraid of Derry. He changed the topic and talked about picking up fine ripe crab apples by climbing up the ladder and making jelly out of it. He even asked Derry to join him. Then Derry pointed him for changing the topic just like other people and added that Mr. Lamb didn't ask as he was afraid just like others. He told Mr. Lamb that it was due to acid that his half face was burnt. He said people pretended to be sympathetic, but actually they were afraid and considered him ugly. He was in so much sorrow that he kept on repeating that acid ate his face and this would never change. Mr. Lamb did not agree with the viewpoint, and Derry got confused at Mr. Lamb's indifference and thought he was not interested. Mr. Lamb told that he was interested in everything and everybody that God created. Then Mr. Lamb asked him about the number of plants at the garden end. Derry replied that they were unwanted plants, like we call the weeds. Mr. Lamb asked Derry why one green plant is called a weed and another a flower. Both were green in color. It was about how people considered them to be herbs or weeds. In reality, they all were same, just like Derry and himself. Actually, students, Mr. Lamb's philosophy was to celebrate life in all its forms. But Derry did not agree to this viewpoint. Mr. Lamb told him that there was no difference. It was only that Mr. Lamb was old and Derry was young. He had a thin leg and Derry got a burnt face. These things were not so important, and so they don't make any difference. The next, Derry asked Mr. Lamb the reason behind his thin leg. Mr. Lamb replied that his leg got blown off in an explosion in the war. He told that kids teased him by calling Lammy Lamb, but this never bothered him as such name suited him. Derry said that Mr. Lamb could cover the thin leg with his trousers and none would notice or stare. Mr. Lamb told his viewpoint, stating that it does not bother him as one day people would get tired of teasing him. But Derry showed his face to Mr. Lamb in reply as he could not cover it. Mr. Lamb gave various examples of weeds, crab apples, spiders, etc., which people could see and discuss. So, here the explanation of part first is finished. Please do not hesitate to clear your doubts. Thank you.